You are looking at the most dangerous place on the planet. Welcome back, Charlie here. Our world is amazing, but there are some places you should never go to if you like being alive. From a forbidden island with a mysterious concrete dome, to a place where simply breathing the air will end your life. First, let's look at this very scary abandoned island. This is Vozrozhdeniya Island. It is found between Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. The island used to be used by the Soviet Union. They had many labs, and in these labs they would develop biological weapons. They would take viruses and diseases and weaponize them. They would use anthrax, smallpox, and plague. Not the kind of things anyone should be messing around with. In 1991, the Soviet Union dissolved. All of these scientists quickly evacuated this lab, leaving it an abandoned and dangerous mess. But there's a big problem. In the last few years, some of these facilities have begun to leak, meaning that viruses and diseases have leaked into the soil of this island. If anyone steps foot on this soil, they may not make it out alive. Also, rodents and fleas could be carrying these deadly viruses and diseases. Let's hope they don't make it off this island, otherwise they could potentially spread to the entire world. It is illegal to visit this island, but a few urban explorers have dared to go here. The way I see it, this island is a ticking time bomb. Moving on, let's look at one of the most dangerous places in the world. It may not look like it, but this place is totally natural. This is the Danakil Depression. This place looks like an alien planet, but it can be found in northwest Ethiopia. It looks like a radioactive wasteland. That's because all of the colors are green, yellow, and orange. It may look very beautiful, but I would not recommend you go here. It is one of the deadliest places in the world. It's located in between 3 tectonic plates, meaning that earthquakes in the area are very common. These cracks have been known to swallow people whole. From these cracks, poisonous sulfur and chlorine gases emerge, meaning that if you breathe this in, you will pass away. There are also many hot springs all around this area. If you step into these waters, you will be boiled alive. The Danakil Depression is also home to 2 active volcanoes. These volcanoes often erupt, creating massive lava lakes. Moving on, let's look at this very eerie and mysterious island. This is found in the Marshall Islands. This island is famous for having a gigantic concrete dome. But what exactly is the point of this dome? Well, inside it is a massive amount of radioactive debris. Runit Island used to be used by the US military to do nuclear tests. From 1946 to 1958, they carried out hundreds of these tests, making the island totally uninhabitable. In total, 67 nuclear bombs were set off on and around this island. This caused massive damage and pollution to the surrounding environment. And decades later, this island is still way too dangerous to go anywhere near. The island is 10 times more radioactive than Chernobyl. But how does that explain this massive dome? Well, in 1977, the military attempted to fix this problem. They decided to bury all of the radioactive debris under the island, and then seal it under a 350-foot concrete dome. But this dome was never supposed to be a permanent solution, and already massive cracks have formed on this dome, meaning that radioactive debris is seeping out at this very moment. Now let's move into the ocean and look at another place you should absolutely never go to. In Belize, you will find the Great Blue Hole. This is a 407-foot deep hole in the ocean. The Great Blue Hole is so massive it can be seen from space. But it's also one of the most dangerous places on the planet. Every year, divers are pulled underneath this hole and never make it back out. That's because the sides of the hole have very strong currents. The Great Blue Hole is also infested with sharks. Next, we have to look at Gruinard Island. Gruinard Island can be found off the coast of Scotland. It was used by the British military to test biological weapons. But this led to anthrax polluting this island. This caused all of the sheep on the island to pass away. No one lives on this island, and you're not allowed to go on there. There are traces of the Siberian plague left in the soil to this day. This means humans won't be able to live on this island for hundreds of years. Next, let's look at one of the coldest places on the planet. This is Oymyakon. The tiny town is found in eastern Russia. Only 500 people live in this town. It is the coldest inhabited place on the planet. It's normally around minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit, but it can go as low as minus 90 degrees Fahrenheit. It's very hard for the people who live here. If they lose the key to their house or get a flat tire, this could end their lives. Because pipes freeze, they need to use outhouses instead of toilets. And no crops or animals can live out here, so they have to eat only frozen meat and fish. Also, sometimes the people who live here freeze to death. It's also very expensive to live here. If you want to go outside safely, you need a special coat. These special coats cost around $1,500. The average wage in this town is only $600 per month, meaning many people have to take out loans to buy these jackets just to stay alive. Staying in Russia, let's look at the Mir Mine. The Mir Mine is one of the most dangerous places on Earth. It was built as a diamond mine and is over 1,700 feet deep. It is one of the largest man-made holes on Earth. Back in 2017, a leak caused this hole to be filled with water. The hole is so deep it's illegal for helicopters to fly over it. That's in case they're sucked in by downward air currents. This place is truly terrifying. Finally, let's look at one more forbidden island you can't go to. This is the island of Surtsey. In 1963, a massive underwater volcano erupted. This created a new island that was named Surtsey. It's one of the most recently formed islands in the world, but it's a very dangerous and deadly place. Only scientists are allowed on the island for research purposes. But now it's time for you to make your voice heard. Comment down below which of these deadly places you would want to go to the most.